Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Science. Tonight, we are drifting. We are letting go of the world around us and taking a quiet journey into the heart of the storm. Not a storm of rain and thunder as you know it. Not a storm that passes in an hour. We are drifting toward storms of unimaginable scale. Storms that are wider than our entire planet. Storms that rage for centuries. Tonight, we journey to the great gas giants and the extreme, violent weather that defines them. But here, in this quiet space, we are safe. We are only observers, floating weightlessly, watching the chaotic beauty of the cosmos from a place of deep calm. So find your comfortable position. Let the weight of the day simply dissolve. Settle your shoulders. Soften your breathing. Allow your mind to quiet, and let's begin our journey. If you enjoy these quiet drifts, these moments of calm exploration, perhaps take a moment to like or subscribe. It helps others find this quiet space too. But for now, just let go. Just breathe. Our journey begins not with a sight, but with a concept. The architecture of a giant. To understand the storm, we must first understand the stage on which it performs. The worlds we visit tonight, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, they are not like our Earth. The most important and simple profound difference is this: they have no solid surface, no ground. You cannot land on a gas giant. There is no bedrock, no shore, no continent to stand upon. There is only the atmosphere. An atmosphere that becomes deeper and denser and hotter until it is no longer an atmosphere at all. You can only fall into it. When astronomers speak of the surface of Jupiter, they are speaking of an arbitrary line, a convenience. It is the place where the pressure of the gas equals the pressure we feel at sea level on Earth. But it is not a floor. It is only a veil, a curtain of swirling cloud hiding the impossible depths below. These worlds are made primarily of the first elements, the elements of the beginning, hydrogen and helium, the very same ingredients that make up our sun. These giants are, in a way, stars that never quite ignited. Failed stars, born in the cold, holding on to their ancient stormy skies. And this is the first secret to their storms. A rocky world, like Earth or Mars, gets its weather from the outside, from the sun. The sun's light heats the equator heats the air, and the weather begins. But the gas giants, they make their own weather. They are not just reflectors of the sun's light, they are radiators of their own internal heat. Deep within Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune, the pressure is immense, so crushing that it squeezes the planet. This is the leftover heat of formation. 4.5 billion years ago, these planets were born in a violent, chaotic collapse of gas and dust. And they are still cooling down. They are still slowly releasing that primordial warmth. This internal heat flows upward. It radiates from the core. It boils the atmosphere from the bottom up, while the sun's faint light warms the clouds from the top down. This creates an engine, a vast planetary engine of churning, rising, falling gas. An engine that has no off switch. An engine that has been running for billions of years. It never stops. Let's drift deeper past that imaginary surface into the clouds. As we descend, the pressure builds relentlessly. The weight of thousands of miles of atmosphere presses down. The hydrogen gas becomes thicker, denser. It stops behaving like a gas and becomes a supercritical fluid, a strange, heavy, exotic ocean of hydrogen, neither liquid nor gas, but something in between. And deeper still, inside the giants like Jupiter and Saturn, the pressure becomes millions of times what we know on Earth. The weight is unimaginable. And here, the hydrogen itself changes. It breaks. The electrons are squeezed free from their atoms. The hydrogen begins to conduct electricity. It becomes liquid, metallic hydrogen. A vast, spinning, globe-spanning ocean of liquid metal surrounding the mysterious core. We do not know if the core is rock or ice or a fuzzy mix of elements dissolved in the metal ocean. It is a mystery, hidden beneath the storm. This spinning, metallic ocean, this is the source of the giants' immense magnetic fields. fields so powerful they create invisible shields around the planets, shields that trap radiation and funnel particles into the poles, creating auroras that are thousands of times more powerful than our northern lights. Auroras larger than our entire planet Earth. A silent, deadly light show. A consequence of the impossible pressure within. And then there is the speed. These giants are spinning incredibly fast. A day on Earth is 24 hours. A day on Jupiter is less than 10. Think of this: a planet so large that 1,000 Earths could fit inside it is rotating more than twice as fast. This colossal rapid spin takes the weather and stretches it. The rising heat from the core, the bubbles of warm gas, on a slow planet, they might just create round, swirling storms. But on Jupiter, the fast spin smears these bubbles. It twists them and pulls them into bands, long, parallel ribbons that wrap the entire globe. These are the zones and the belts. You have seen them in pictures, the stripes of Jupiter. The lighter bands, the white or cream-colored stripes, these are the zones. This is where gas is rising, ascending from the deep, cooling, and forming bright white clouds of ammonia ice, high in the upper atmosphere. The darker bands, the reddish-brown stripes, these are the belts. This is where the cooler gas, having released its heat, sinks, descending back into the warmer depths. As it sinks, the clouds evaporate. The air clears, allowing us to see deeper into the warmer, darker, more colorful layers below. And at the boundary between these bands, between the rising zones and the sinking belts, the sheer friction, the grinding of these opposing flows creates the most powerful winds in the solar system. Jet streams, atmospheric rivers, flowing east and flowing west, at hundreds, or on Saturn, thousands of miles per hour. Winds so fast they break the sound barrier. They are forever trapped between the bands, shearing and twisting any small storm that tries to form. So, we have the ingredients: a deep internal furnace that never stops boiling, a crushing planetary pressure that changes the very nature of matter, and a spin so fast It whips the entire atmosphere into a frenzy of parallel super hurricanes. This is the architecture of an eternal storm. This is the stage, and now it is time to visit the players. Let us drift toward the king, the great, stormy, magnificent Jupiter. We approach the king, Jupiter. It does not look like a planet, not as we know them. It is a canvas, a swirling, churning marble of storms, creams and beiges, deep reds and burnt oranges, a world of paint, still wet, still mixing. It fills our view, a giant so profound that all other planets in our solar system combined would still be less than half its size. It is the anchor, the great gravitational shepherd. And its entire surface, this endless ocean of gas, is chaos, a beautiful, hypnotic chaos. And there, dominating the southern hemisphere, is the icon, the most famous storm in all of history, the Great Red Spot. It is an eye, a vast crimson eye, staring unblinking into the cold of space. It is an anticyclone, a storm of high pressure, spinning counterclockwise, a mountain of gas rising high above the surrounding cloud tops. It is old, so very old. Astronomers have been watching it for centuries. Giovanni Cassini may have seen it in the 1600s. It has certainly been raging for at least 300 years. Perhaps thousands. We do not know. It is a storm that has lived longer than empires, longer than nations, a storm with a history. And it is vast, or it was. When we first measured it, it was enormous. 3 entire Earths could fit inside it, side by side. But it is changing. We have watched over the decades as the Great Red Spot has shrunk. It is becoming smaller and more circular, tighter, more compact. Today, only one Earth could fit inside. Is it dying? Is this ancient storm finally winding down? Or is it just changing its shape, reorganizing its energy. The models are unclear. The planet keeps its secrets. Let us drift closer. Not too close, but close enough to see the motion. The edges of the storm are ferocious. The winds here are moving at 400 kilometers per hour, 250 miles per hour. A constant Category 5 hurricane lashing against the surrounding jet stream. But inside, deeper inside the eye, things are calmer. The winds are slower. The gas swirls gently in a long, slow spiral, taking days to complete one rotation. And the color, this beautiful crimson and salmon color, it is a mystery. We know the storm is dredging up material, pulling chemicals from deep below the visible clouds, lifting them high into the upper atmosphere, high above the white ammonia. And up here, these chemicals are baked by the sun's ultraviolet radiation, a cosmic chemical reaction that creates complex organic molecules called tholins. And it is these tholins, these sun-baked compounds, that we believe are responsible for the color. The red is the sign of the storm's depth, the sign of its power to reach down into the planet's hidden layers. This storm is not just wide, it is deep. Data from the Juno spacecraft has shown that the roots of the Great Red Spot extend down 300 miles, 500 kilometers into the atmosphere, far deeper than any storm on Earth. It is not just weather. It is a feature of the planet's geology, a geological storm, a permanent or semi-permanent part of Jupiter itself. But it is not alone. Jupiter is a gallery of storms. Look just below the Great Red Spot, a series of white ovals, like a necklace, a strand of pearls draped across the planet. These are the string of pearls, 8 massive anticyclones. Each one is a spinning storm of high pressure. They are smaller than the great red spot, but they are giants in their own right. Each one is a storm as wide as a continent on Earth. They follow each other in a perfect line, trapped in a single jet stream, a procession of white giants. And there, near the pearls, a smaller red storm. It is called Oval BA, or sometimes Red Spot Jr. This storm is young. We watched it form in the late 1990s. 3 smaller white ovals that had existed for decades began to drift closer and closer until, one by one, they merged. They collided and devoured each other, spinning into a single, larger, stronger storm. And in 2006, it turned red for a time. It had become strong enough, powerful enough, to dredge up those same mysterious chemicals from the depths, to paint itself in the same color as its famous older sibling. Jupiter is not static. It is alive. Storms are born, and storms merge, and storms die. We are watching a fluid, dynamic atmosphere that creates and destroys its own weather on a scale that dwarfs human time. Let us drift now, away from the light, into the night side of Jupiter, into the deep shadow. Here the clouds are invisible. There is no sunlight to reflect, but we are not in total darkness. Look, there, a flash, a brilliant blue-white flash, and another, and another. Lightning. Jupiter is alive with lightning, but it is not like the lightning on Earth. Here, our lightning is born from water clouds, from ice crystals colliding. On Jupiter, the water clouds are deep down, buried beneath the upper layers of ammonia ice. And so, the lightning here is different. We see flashes in the upper atmosphere, where there should be no water. Scientists call it shallow lightning. They believe it is caused by ammonia, a slushy mixture of ammonia and water, rising in powerful updrafts. These mushballs, as they are called, collide and build a charge, a different kind of electrical engine. And the bolts are immense, 1,000 times more powerful than any flash on Earth. They light up cloud decks that are miles across, a constant, silent flickering of immense energy, a planet that makes its own internal light. This is Jupiter, a world of ancient storms that will outlive us all, a world of newborn storms that feed on each other, a world of lightning born from ammonia snow. It is the king, and it is never quiet. And now we let Jupiter gently fade into the distance. Our journey is not over. We drift outward, past the asteroid belt, toward the most beautiful planet in our solar system, the golden ringed jewel. We drift toward Saturn. We drift, leaving the gravity of Jupiter behind. We float across the vast expanse, past the orbits of moons and captured rocks, toward the jewel, Saturn. From a distance, it seems serene. It lacks the violent colors of Jupiter. It is a world of pale gold, soft butterscotch, hazy yellow. Its features are muted, softened by a thick layer of high-altitude haze. And of course, the rings, a breathtaking, impossible halo of ice and dust, thousands upon thousands of glittering ringlets stretching out, wider than the planet itself, a disk of frozen light, so thin in places it is only a few meters thick. It looks quiet. It looks peaceful. But that peace is an illusion, a beautiful, deceptive illusion, because beneath that pale golden haze, Saturn holds the second fastest winds in the solar system. Jupiter's winds were fast, 400 kilometers per hour. Here, on Saturn, at the equator, the wind never stops blowing at 1,800 kilometers per hour, 1,100 miles per hour. Winds faster than the speed of sound, a permanent supersonic hurricane encircling the entire planet. The energy needed to drive such speed is staggering. It comes from that same internal engine. Saturn, like Jupiter, radiates more heat into space than it receives from the distant sun. It is boiling its own sky. But Saturn's weather is different. Its storms are not as frequent. Jupiter is always covered in dozens of twisting spots. Saturn is calmer for long stretches of time. It seems to hold its breath. It builds its energy. It waits. And then, once every Saturn year, roughly every 30 Earth years, the planet exhales. It is called the Great White Spot, or the Great White Oval. It is a storm of immense proportions, a colossal plume of bright white gas that erupts from the deep interior. It starts as a small white patch, but fed by the planet's internal heat, it grows. And the planet's furious winds catch it. They shear it and stretch it. The storm begins to move east. The head of the storm rages, while the tail is pulled faster and faster by the jet stream, until the tail wraps all the way around the planet, a ribbon of white that stretches for 200,000 miles. The storm has lapped itself. It becomes a planet-girdling tempest, a burp of heat so powerful it changes the entire face of Saturn for years, until it finally fades and the planet becomes quiet again, waiting for the next 30 years to pass. The storms on Saturn are deep, so deep they generate lightning. The Cassini spacecraft heard the crackle, the radio static of Saturn electrostatic discharges. Flashes so powerful they are 10,000 times stronger than any lightning on Earth. They erupt from deep water clouds, illuminating the golden haze from within. But the storms are not the strangest feature of this world. Let us drift now up over the rings, floating past the shimmering ice toward the planet's North Pole. Here, we find something impossible. Something that should not exist. A storm that is not round. A hexagon. A perfect six-sided shape carved into the cloud tops. Each side of the hexagon is wider than the planet Earth. The entire structure is 20,000 miles across. It is not a solid structure. It is a pattern in the clouds, a feature of the wind. Inside the hexagon, the winds are calmer. Outside, a powerful jet stream races around its 6 corners, moving at over 300 miles per hour. Scientists do not know for sure how it forms, but they believe it is a standing wave, a vibration in the atmosphere, a harmonic, like a note plucked on a string. The jet stream is vibrating at a frequency that naturally settles into 6 stable bends, and it is permanent, or at least it has been there ever since we could see it. For decades, it does not drift. It does not change its shape. It just spins. A perfect geometrical mystery. And at its center, directly over the pole, is the eye, a dark, calm vortex, a polar hurricane twice as wide as any hurricane on Earth, where the gas is sinking down into the planet. The calm in the middle of the strangest storm we have ever seen. Saturn is a world of contradictions. It looks calm, but it is violent. It builds storms that eat themselves, and it holds a perfect, impossibly stable shape at its very pole. A cold, fast, beautiful riddle. We pull away from the golden sphere. We let the rings fade behind us. Our journey must continue into the deep cold, into the outer dark. We drift now for a long, long time, past the orbit of the next world, toward the blue giants, the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune. The light has faded. The sun is now just a star, the brightest star in a black sky, but still just a star. We are in the deep outer realm, the kingdom of the ice giants. These are not like Jupiter or Saturn. They are different, smaller, but still giants, vast globes, 4 times wider than our Earth. They are not made of metallic hydrogen in the same way. They are made of ices, water, methane, ammonia, a vast, deep, strange ocean of liquid ices surrounding a small, rocky core. Our first stop is the strangest of them all, the planet Uranus. It is a pale blue green orb, a smooth, almost featureless aquamarine ball. Its color comes from methane in its atmosphere. The methane gas absorbs red light from the sun and reflects blue and green light back into space. It is the color of a quiet, frozen sea. And quiet is the right word. Uranus is calm, surprisingly calm. We see few storms, few bands, few of the violent features we saw on Jupiter and Saturn. The reason is heat, or the lack of it. Uranus is the only giant that does not radiate significant internal heat. It has cooled down. Its internal engine has stalled. The planet is in a state of deep chill, so its weather is driven only by the faint sunlight that reaches it. And out here, that is not very much energy at all. But the most extraordinary thing about Uranus is not its weather. It is its posture. Uranus has been knocked over long ago in the chaotic youth of the solar system. Something immense, an object perhaps the size of Earth, slammed into this giant. The collision was so cataclysmic, it tilted the entire planet onto its side. It does not spin like a top as it orbits the sun. It rolls like a ball, its north pole faces directly out toward these stars, and this creates the strangest seasons imaginable. An year on Uranus lasts 84 Earth years. For 21 years, the sun shines directly on its north pole, one long summer day that lasts 2 decades. The south pole is plunged in total darkness, a winter night that also lasts 21 years. Then the planet rolls on, and the sun shines on the equator. And then, for 21 years, the South Pole has its summer, a planet of extreme light and extreme dark, a quiet, tilted, frozen world.
We leave the tilted giant behind. We drift further into the dark, to the last true planet, the final giant, Neptune. And if Uranus was quiet and calm, Neptune is furious. It is a world of a deep, stunning azure blue, a richer, darker, more vibrant blue than Uranus. It has more methane, but there is something else that gives it this shocking color, something we still do not understand. And unlike Uranus, Neptune is alive. It has an internal engine. It radiates more than twice the energy it receives from the sun. It is hot inside, and that heat drives the weather. Neptune now holds the record, the fastest winds in the solar system. At its equator, winds blast at 2,100 kilometers per hour, 1,300 miles per hour. Supersonic winds of frozen methane and nitrogen ice. It is so cold and so fast, it defies imagination. When the Voyager spacecraft flew by in 1989, it saw the storm, a huge bruise in the blue atmosphere, the great dark spot, a storm as wide as the planet Earth, an anticyclone spinning madly in the furious wind. But when the Hubble telescope looked again a few years later, it was gone, vanished. The great dark spot had disappeared. Neptune's storms are not like Jupiter's. They are not ancient. They are born, and they live fiercely, and they die quickly. They are torn apart by the planet's own winds. New dark spots have appeared since, in different places. The planet is constantly changing its face. A dynamic, chaotic, blue world. Voyager also saw other smaller storms, bright white patches of cirrus cloud made of methane ice. They zipped around the planet faster than the Great Dark Spot. Scientists nicknamed one of them Scooter, a frantic puff of white cloud racing to keep up in the fastest winds we have ever seen. But the most extreme weather on these ice giants may not be the wind. It may be the rain. Deep inside Uranus and Neptune, thousands of miles down in that deep, thick mantle of liquid ices, the pressure is immense, millions of times the pressure of Earth, and the temperatures are thousands of degrees. Here, scientists believe the methane molecules, the carbon and hydrogen, are broken apart. The carbon atoms are squeezed so intensely by the pressure that they bond together. They crystallize. They form solid diamonds. Think of this. In the deep, dark interiors of these planets, it is raining diamonds, solid, glittering diamonds, denser than the fluid around them. They form and they sink, drifting slowly down through the crushing ocean of ice for thousands of miles. A slow, perpetual rain of jewels, building up in a solid layer around the planet's core. A treasure that no one will ever see. The most beautiful storm of all.
We are at the edge. We have seen the last giant. Jupiter's ancient eye. Saturn's geometric pole. Uranus's long night. And Neptune's diamond rain. Our solar system is full of wonders, but it is only one system, one story. There are billions of others. Let us drift now beyond the edge, beyond our sun's light, into the great galaxy, to worlds with weather beyond all imagination.
We are floating, free from our sun, drifting in the great interstellar sea. And all around us are other suns, other systems, thousands and billions of them. And they, too, have planets. Planets stranger than we can dream. We see brief glimpses, worlds we call hot Jupiters, giants like Jupiter, but orbiting so close to their star that a year lasts only a few days. They are tidally locked, one side forever facing the sun, one side in perpetual daylight, heated to thousands of degrees, so hot that iron becomes a gas. And on this world, the weather is inconceivable. Supersonic winds whip the iron vapor around the planet to the night side, the one side that is forever cold. And in that cold, eternal darkness, the iron condenses. It forms clouds of metal, and it rains. It rains molten iron from the black sky. We see other worlds, worlds where the atmosphere is rich in silicates, and the pressure and heat are so extreme that the clouds are made of glass. Tiny particles of glass swirling in winds that tear across the planet. A world where it rains liquid glass sideways. These worlds are too violent, too strange. They are beautiful from a distance, but they are not quiet. So we pull back. We let these distant fires fade. We let them become just points of light again, like diamonds on a velvet cloth. And we begin our journey home. We drift back to our own quiet corner, back past the blue ice giants, past the golden rings of Saturn, past the great red eye of Jupiter, back to the small blue world, the only one that matters tonight. We have seen the chaos, the eternal storms, the winds that break sound, the rain that falls as jewels and metal. And we can appreciate its grandeur, its majesty, the awesome power of the universe. But we can also appreciate the quiet, the stillness, the safety of this moment. The cosmos is raging outside, but in here, in this room, all is calm, all is peaceful. Let the images of the storms fade. Let them dissolve. Let your mind become as empty and as vast as the space between the stars. There is nothing left to do, nothing to think about,
nowhere to be except right here. Thank you for drifting with me tonight. Thank you for taking this journey into the storm. If you have enjoyed this quiet time, feel free to subscribe and join us again. Or perhaps leave a thought below. But that is for another time. For now, just let go. Let the music and my voice become part of the silence. Your journey is done. The universe will spin on without you for a while. It is time to rest. It is time to sleep. Good night.